I always assumed chinchillas were kind of cute. Those ears, kind of disturbing for some reason. But we're not talking about a lovable rodent in this video. This is all about the Benjamin Moore paint color named after said rodent. It's Soft Chinchilla 2135-50. What a start to the video. This of course is the beloved light blue with just the right amount of gray. And don't let that bit of gray be a buzzkill, because what it translates to is a soft, toned down blue that feels a little more than just your predictable powdery blues that exist. Right after we take a deep dive on this color and talk about some of the ways you can use it in your home, I also have an entire color palette based around it that I've lovingly created for one of our channel members, Angela. Angela, like the rest of our members, helps support us on a monthly basis, and we really appreciate you all for helping us out. And if you can't support us through membership, a subscribe or a press of that like button will do us wonders. So what's nice about Soft Chinchilla is it's not quite as soft as you might think. I suppose soft in the sense where it's a bit toned down with some gray, but it's not an overly light color either. Some may describe it as a variation of a sky blue, but I usually equate lighter colors with the sky. And Soft Chinchilla, believe it or not, is actually a mid-tone. And I know this by checking out its LRV, or its light reflectance value, which sits around 52.73. That's nothing to sneeze at. It's a decently deep, light blue looking color, which sounds weird, but that's what it is. It reflects about half the light that hits it, which is perhaps a touch darker than your traditional go-to wall color choices for the inside of your home. That being said, it is an interesting one because you might assume that it's just kind of blue and gray mixed together, but is it just me, or is there like the faintest bit of robin's egg blue creeping in the background a little bit here? I do feel that there is that touch of soft green, just nudging it towards that side of things. And that's the element that really excites me about this color. Not necessarily for the predominant color in a home on the walls, but I can definitely see it as an excellent bedroom choice, maybe even a kitchen color. A family room with a nice amount of natural lighting could suit this color really, really well. And we could even talk about things like doors, both inside and on the front of your home as an exterior choice, especially next to much lighter surrounding colors to help it really pop off, like off-whites or just plain old white. Dare I say it would look really fun on kitchen cabinets? Okay, maybe on the kitchen island of one of those all-white kitchens we all love, but maybe in your like second unit kitchen in your basement, not necessarily main floor level caliber. I don't know if YouTube is ready for mid-tone blue cabinets yet, but I could be wrong. Soft Chinchilla really lends itself nicely to perhaps those more modern farmhouse or coastal aesthetics. It could absolutely work wonders in those situations. So that's where I was kind of thinking when I put together a color palette consisting of other Benjamin Moore colors that all have that little bit of a coastal flavor or through line that I really gravitate towards sometimes. I feel like it's a really cohesive palette that a lot of you will enjoy. This one goes out to you, Angela. That's how it goes. That's the sound. So I will start with an accompanying light neutral. It's a creamy color known as Grand Teton White, and it also has 5 different color codes that I know of, which is kind of wild, but anyway you slice it, whatever color code you use, this is going to be that paint color that helps settle down the cool aspect of Soft Chinchilla and balances it out with a welcoming, warm, soft beige that will feel a bit like a whitewash in comparison. It is in a decent place lightness-wise as well, so it's going to brighten up the space you use it pretty considerably, but still have a noticeable hue, which I think is a good thing. This will keep it interesting as long as your lighting is relatively under control. It is on the lighter side where if you have a ton of big windows letting light pour in, it may get washed out a little bit. But the way that I like to define colors like this is, if you use computers, you're probably familiar with the undo button or the reset button on a game console. Grand Teton White is a great reset button in your color selection process, where if you're not sure which color to use in this palette for a particular room, this is going to be the easiest and simplest choice for most situations, mainly because it doesn't make a massive statement. It's sort of just the clean slate. Okay, we'll start with this, and then maybe if we feel compelled to go with one of the other choices, we can do that. It's pretty much your basic choice, but basic is criminally underrated when it comes to paint colors. The next pairing takes a bit of that hint of green within Soft Chinchilla and enhances it with a silvery quality. And of course, I'm talking about Silver Marlin, which is sort of a frosty sage green, also sitting within the mid-tone category of paint colors. Interestingly enough, this is a color that has, to me, a little more versatility than Soft Chinchilla, because green feels a little more universal these days, where it's inherently going to have that transitional aspect where it's a bit cool, a bit warm, works really well with creams and off-whites, and also the fact that there is that gray aspect to it, it helps it feel more neutral, yet still a little bit dynamic as well. You don't always like green when it's an undertone you're not expecting, so expect it here and try to learn to like it because I think it's a really pretty color. Don't be shy using this as a wall color, and it's awesome how it feels pretty up to date and fresh, all things considered, where it can coexist with really fun metallics and all that. But even if you have more of a rustic sort of natural wood vibe happening in your home, it's gonna work there too. So a lot of varied design styles that this color is gonna mesh with. Now for color pairing number 3, we take a little blue, a little green, and have a lot of both. We just quadruple it. That's where polished slate comes in. It's also known as polar jade, depending on your region. And yes, we have a bit of a jewel tone here. So this is definitively the accent color of the palette. It's extremely rich and saturated, and it has this wonderful ability to feel energetic and moody all at the same time. It really all depends on your lighting and also the time of day when you see this color in person. It's really gonna have a different effect based on those conditions, and that's what helps it feel pretty exciting to me as a paint color. So this is really your 10% color choice. Maybe you just use it in one room or just have it as an accent splash within a space that's painted with one of the other colors. But really it just feels like a heightened color choice that can really draw some awesome attention to whatever space you use it in. I wish I could talk about it more, but we gotta talk about trim colors because baseboards are important, y'all. You gotta paint your baseboards. Don't forget about them. And also your doors and your frames and all that. By the way, if you're liking the video so far, you know what to do. There's that sound again.
Stop it. Get some help.
I'm not that good at sounds, apparently. As far as off-whites are concerned in the context of this palette, I enjoy Snow on the Mountain, otherwise known as floral white, mainly because it carries this really pleasing, delicate softness while having a very subtle green undertone as well that's honestly nearly invisible, but present enough to coordinate really nicely with the other colors in this palette. One thing of note, it is not the brightest white that ever existed. It's actually one of the darker whites that I recommend as a trim color. So you won't get that crisp, stark quality that maybe you're craving, but I don't always think that's the one way to go either. So I really like this choice here. On the flip side, if you wanted a darker trim color, I might recommend something like Stonecutter, which is kind of like a slate teal. Think of it as a beautiful blue-green mixed with black. That's what you're getting here. And normally I might recommend a dark blue-gray for soft chinchilla as a trim color, but I think Stonecutter's teal aspect is more interesting, and it helps coordinate with some of the other colors that are a little more warm or at least green leaning. I guess going back to Grand Teton White, if you had a room painted with that and then Stonecutter trim, that's gonna be the most polarizing of the 3 color pairings, but it could still be to your taste if you like things a bit different. Here's the palette all together. Let me know what you think. And we got another one right over here. They just keep coming. All this free color advice. How awesome, eh?